friends, it's Krystal, your Leo bestie, back with another video on my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I am so glad that we are here together in this space. I am super thankful to anybody that has truly followed along and supported me so far. I'm about to hit 1 year on this channel, and the emotions are getting to me. I can't believe it sometimes. And point is that I'm just thankful for you guys and truly happy to be here sharing about my experiences. If you are new here, welcome. I give you a big heart for supporting me and for who you are, because I truly believe that if you are watching this for any reason, it means that you are ready for change. And changing is the hardest thing that we have to go through in this lifetime. I was talking to a client the other day and we didn't offer this specific service anymore, and she just was like, I'm not having it. That's what I don't want. I don't want to change. And I truly just wanted to tell her, I bit my tongue, but I wanted to tell her, well, that's the problem, is that you don't want change. And I stopped myself from saying that, and it's should I have said that? Would that have made her realize, holy crap? But then there was the other part of me that was is she gonna freak out? You know what I mean? So point is, that got me thinking of how much it is to change. I've gone through this whole transformation process that I bet you people can't even imagine, because of how small their thinking still is. And I feel for them. I truly do, because I used to be in that space. I used to be in the space of thinking small. And when I got out of that space of thinking small and seeing a bigger picture for myself, and I saw that I was able to choose and be who I want to be in this life, not who people want me to be, it is liberating as fuck. Sorry for the swearing, but there's no other way of explaining it than telling you guys it feels good. And there's times where you sit there and you're like, how did I used to feel? How was it that I got myself through out of that situation, out of being in that mindset? And it really truly took taking care of my mental health. It started with my mental health. I noticed how bad it was when I didn't recognize who I was anymore. In the way I reacted, in the way I looked in the mirror, I just didn't like the reflection I was seeing. And it wasn't with who was around me, it had to do with just me. Just me. And when you come to that point that you realize it's me, it's not you, it's not you, it's not you, it's nobody's reason I feel this. That is my emotion, that is my feeling. When I got there, I stopped taking things personally, because you start realizing everything that people want you to be, people that advise you to be, that's just advice that they need for themselves. You're just literally a mirror. But since we take things personally, it creates our reality into someone else's perspective. And when you get out of that perspective and see through you, of who you want to be, what your values are, when you come down to is that in my values, you're it's not, because it's morally not. And point is, I'm getting off track. Today's video is going to be about reparenting. So I left you guys off last week about telling you guys the story of, or I guess beginning of me getting sexually abused when I was a teenager, and it really took me a lot to get there. And again, I'm gonna put a disclaimer here, like if you are someone that is not ready to talk about sexual abuse, someone that is not even ready to go down that path, then I understand. And it's okay to feel the way that you are feeling, because this is new. Especially if you're coming from like a background that I came from, where I couldn't openly speak about what happened to me. It really puts a big effect on you on how you even speak your truth. You have to learn and you have to teach yourself to speak the truth, because so much layers of being told to shut up, being told to be quiet, being told that you can't act a certain way, were pushed very down. And because they were pushed very, very down, that means that you put yourself there. Your mind put yourself to be in this place. And when you are in this space of getting yourself dug that deep, it really takes a huge like support system, healing, so much. It takes so much, and I get that. And that's why I'm sharing my point of view and my personal sake, because I've been through it, and the many people that I've talked to that have healed and that have helped me through this situation, was that it felt so good to be held by someone that understood. Like, I would go to a friend and I'd be like, this is what I'm feeling, like I feel like I'm doing this, like I feel like this. And then to get a reality check from a friend of telling you like, no, that's the trauma speaking. That's the trauma speaking. And so when you get out of that, you literally turn back to yourself, and that's when you're like, okay, I see how I took that personally. I see how I made that happen. But how do you get there, right? Next thing on the video is going to be talking about the journal entry and the meditation. If you did it with me, or if you did it outside and you like took notes and you did it upon yourself, this is going to be like the third step. So the first one, for those that haven't watched my previous videos, number one would be to ask yourself the question of what was the worst day of my life, and then you journal that. You set a timer for 10 minutes and then you just keep writing. That's the first step. The second step was to do that little meditation that I told you guys, where you're gonna visualize your inner child and yourself in a chair and just ask what she or he needs. And then I left you guys with like an assignment to like go get that. So we're gonna go with step number 3. I want to ask you guys, did anybody get a response? Like, did anybody hear what your little self needed? For example, like I had told you guys about the blanket. This time when I went back, because I'm doing this with you guys, like I love being a part of it, because it gets me to be able to speak about what I'm feeling, so that if that's what you feel, we're gonna have different scenarios, but the feeling is going to be very similar. And that's what I'm here for. I just kind of want to visualize it so that we could both understand each other, because I'm a visual person. If you're a visual person, then welcome to my channel. I love you. I love visual learners because it's a new way of being. If you think about creating a new life, like, you have to have a vision, you have to have a future, you have to visualize something to be able to create that. So if you are someone that's a visual learner, these steps are gonna help you, because you have to visualize getting yourself out of that state. And what better way of doing that than visual learners? Like, think about it. Think about if you're a visual learner. Hearts to you, I love you. Point is, step number 3 is going to be the part about reparenting. I told you guys this video is going to be about reparenting. What I mean by that is, Now you got your little inner child what she needs, he needs. We're gonna need to build a trust with your inner child, because think about yourself in that moment and ask yourself, like, did I trust anybody? So with reparenting, what we're gonna do is we're going to be there and treat yourself, whatever age you are, as that age. Because as I told you guys before, like when we get these traumatic experiences and you didn't feel that emotion, your body stays there. And the thing about reparenting is that if you didn't have emotionally available parents, for example, like I did, I grew up in a very Hispanic household. Like my parents came from a very small ranchito, first generation Hispanic, so I get you. Like my parents are first generation here in the United States. And so growing up in that environment, it wasn't known about emotions. It wasn't taught about this. Like we were taught so much stuff. Like my parents were learning and they just didn't know the way to learn instead of just following what they knew. That's how the way they learned. And so for me and for you, for all of us out there breaking this first generational curse, it's gonna take for you to build new values, build new mindsets, build new visions for yourself. Because at that time, the only vision I ever had was of my parents. And because of that, I was seeing through their eyes and I was living their life. And there wasn't a line of draw where it was, I am allowed to live my own life, or I am allowed to do this. It comes to the point where you're just like, I don't want to deal with any of that. Like myself and me and my nervous system cannot do that anymore. I cannot live like that. I am not a person that is okay living in survival, pretending like nothing ever happened. Like I'm aware, like I know I'm not gonna pretend that something happened just to put a band-aid on it. Like no, rip that freaking wound, rip that freaking band-aid off and freaking feel the hurt. Like that's the only way you get out of this, is by feeling the hurt. And when I read this and when I connected to my inner child and I told her, like, what do you need? Like, it was just so quiet, it was so scared, it was dark. And that's when I knew, like, how deep and how dark it had gotten for me, of letting this specific wound run my life. And the only question that I could ask myself, like out of all that, like think about it, out of all that I could have questioned, my question was, so how do I feel it? I was like, there's no way I'm gonna try to fix all of this, because I can't control all of this. All I can control is me and myself. And if I can't control how I feel, how I am emotional, and I can't keep my state, I'm sorry, but boundary and no means no. And I know a lot of you are in the process and maybe might not understand, but for those that do understand and you are at this point, I promise it gets better. That boundary setting is a must. You have to get better in order to be able to be better yourself, Because if not, you're just going to attach to that old energy that was there. And I think for the most part, I think the hardest thing to understand is this real? Is this even happening? Like, what is going on? You don't know. And I think this is the moment where your faith is going to be tested. Your faith is going to be tested. And you can't let that happen. You can't let the fear have more power than your faith. Your faith has to be as strong, double, triple the size of that fear. But you have to set a boundary. And I know boundaries are hard. I get it. But you can get through it. And just know that I have your back. I am your bestie here. Again, I am so loyal. And I think for the most part, what people don't understand about Leos, like a misconception about Leos, is that we're bad friends. And it makes me think of the whole Yvette situation. Like, she's a Leo, and I see and I read the energy of all those other influencers. Like, I'm with my girl Yvette. I'm sorry, but I trust her loyalty. Like, a Leo's loyalty is like 100%. And so I don't know if you guys follow all that little TikTok drama. It pops up on my For You page and I'm just like, not interested. But it keeps coming up. But anyways, I'm aware. I'm aware of what happens. I'm still human. So anyways, I love you guys. That's gonna be all. I thank you guys so much for joining in, and I'm just gonna send a prayer to you, to the one that got me, to the one that I know is following me and is feeling the same that way that I am feeling. Like, trust me, this prayer is for you. I love you guys. Remember, every single day is a new opportunity to grow. Check out my latest TikTok videos. They're so cute. I did them with one of my friends, Joanna. They were so cute. I was so like natural dopamine. I went to the gym after how long of saying I was gonna go to the gym. I finally did it. I trusted, me and my friend trusted the universe, and we were like, trust the unknown, because it just led to me going to the gym after freaking putting it off. Anyways, check those out. Last thing, remember to subscribe. I love the support. I see you, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Take care. I love you guys.